for. And the beautiful thing about this understanding is that all these people that you've met up with, maybe if somebody you just met on the airplane, or maybe someone that has been your child since their birth, everything about your life with them has caused you to put so many marbles in your vortex bag. I want them to have a good life. I want them to know who they are. I want them to feel the fullness of who they are. I want them to discover their empowerment. I want them to calibrate to source energy. I want them to fulfill their reason for being. I want them to have fun along the way. I want them to come up with their own ideas about what they want. I want them to be the creator of their own experience. And this knowing what you do want, it's a stick with two ends on it. It's logical that on the other end of it, you're at the time you're saying all of those things, you're saying, I don't want them to be disempowered. I want them to be empowered. I don't want them to be confused. I want them to have clarity. I don't want them to have a hard time. I want them to follow the path of least resistance. I want them to feel their empowerment. Once you get the hang of this and you start deliberately joining your bags of marbles together, you're going to notice that your point of attraction gives you evidence of the influence. Maybe one who's connected up like that is 1,000,000 times more powerful than one who's out here on the raw and ragged edge. Your inner being is not ever going to cry in protest at those who haven't quite figured out how to let in what they're asking for. Your inner being's just going to revel in the fact that they are asking and that the cooperative components are being gathered. You just got to give up your battles with each other. And most of the battle with yourself will go away when you give up your battles with each other. And you can tell when you've got a battle with yourself going on because you don't feel good. It either feels like despair or it feels like irritation. It's an argument with yourself that you're wanting to get over and an agreement with yourself that you're reaching for. And the beautiful thing about this understanding is that all these people that you've met up with, maybe if somebody you just met on the airplane, or maybe someone that has been your child since their birth, everything about your life with them has caused you to put so many marbles in your vortex bag. I want them to have a good life. And when I focus upon the problems and the troubles, even though they are real, we're not asking you to deny reality. We're asking you which reality that you want to focus upon. Which reality do you want to move toward? The new, the improved, the expanded, or the old, considered, vetted, pushed against? Who are you? Who are you? Are you a creator or a regurgitator? Are you for something or against something? You have to decide, because your inner being is always what you are for. And what you're for is clarity and abundance and well-being and love and upliftment and stability. So this is where what we're talking about, look for the easy existing matches. Existing matches to what? Existing matches to what my inner being knows. The easy ones, not the ones that I struggle with to find. That'll just make you pull against your inner being and push against to justify it. What are the easy existing matches that you have? One who is connected to this stream of well-being is more powerful than millions who are not. So that point of attraction is powerful, more powerful. Hard to define how much more powerful. And we want you to contemplate for a moment with us why that part is so much more powerful in its point of attraction. Because there's no contradiction in the energy. Because the vibration has been identified and isolated and calibrated. And so since there is no contradiction, that signal is strong. Sometimes you calibrate to a signal that is not coming from source. It's coming from fear, or groups of people who are fear, rivers and streams, because every thought that's ever been thought still exists, and the law of attraction manages those thoughts too. So there are plenty of beliefs and thoughts and rivers and streams that humans think that if you're just bipping along not thinking anything and just slightly negative about your life experience, you can easily, because law of attraction will draw you there, because law of attraction isn't doing what's best for you. Law of attraction is not even trying to do what's best for you. The law of attraction is not your mother. The law of attraction is an equal opportunity across the board responder to your vibration and a matcher of vibrations. So if you are ornery about something, the law of attraction will say, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more. It's just the way that it works, you see. So as the law of attraction is responding to everything that is abounding, you have choices. You can calibrate to wanted or unwanted, but you can't all of a sudden, after you've been calibrated, after you've been noticing, after you've been complaining, after you've been observing. Do you know, heard us say this many times if you've been hanging around with us, most humans offer most of their vibrations in response to what they are observing, which is a good thing if what you're observing feels good, but it is not a good thing if what you're observing feels bad. And if you've got the habit of observation, then you're going to have a mixed bag, and you're not going to be like your inner being who is consistently pure positive energy. Now that's okay. You're not ever going to be that until you croak. You're not ever going to be that until there is nothing in the physical realm that has your attention. And you came to the physical realm intending to give your attention to things in the physical realm, because calibrating to unwanted gives birth to what is wanted, and that's the evolution of all species. It's the expansion of the universe. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. You just have to decide, once you have taken that step one by knowing what you don't want and asking for more, you just have to decide if you're willing to start looking toward what you're asking for, or if you're going to stay in the defense mode of explaining to someone, usually your mother, why you want it. If you could hear that your work is calibrating to who you really are, not trying to figure out everything that you ever lived. People spend lifetimes trying to sort that stuff out and never get it sorted out. Because in every moment, the path of least resistance, or the path of most allowance, opens a new door for you. In other words, that truck wasn't there when you knew it was right to stop at that light. That was the right thing to do until a new piece of information came to you, and then the path of least resistance changed. The path of least resistance is always changing, and you know why? Because your inner being knows where you are in every moment in time in relationship to everything you want, and is always calling you in the direction of everything that you want. You're born with emotions. If you don't pay attention to the way you feel, then you are setting aside the most important part of who you are, which is the relationship between you and you. When you come up to an opinionated person who is very sure they're right, and you say, well, I'm not going to just get rolled over. I'm not just going to be a doormat, which means I should push against their opinion. We say that's still calibrating to them. In other words, what you want to do is to calibrate to something else. Join your inner being in looking for their existing matches. This is a passionate person. This person cares a lot. This person is asking in a strong way. This person's inner being is calling them to strong understanding. But maybe I would be inspired to say something that will be helpful, maybe not. But when it becomes an argument about whose opinion is right rather than whose vibrational alignment is strongest, you always lose. And that's what's going on in humanity all the time, isn't it? Not everybody's disconnected all the time, and not everybody's in alignment all the time. But in other words, unless you are caring about closing that gap, finding that harmony, then it's sort of like a cork bobbing on the ocean. Not much control is happening. Now life is going to take a new form and shape for you. You're going to feel exhilarated. You're going to feel satisfaction. Those who are watching you will see you as someone who seems to create tremendously with ease. Those who are watching you, especially those who don't really understand the power of this vortex and the power of your deliberate alignment with it, they'll call you lucky. Many times they'll be jealous of you, because they'll watch your fortunes amass and your funds surround you, and they'll watch you in satisfying life experience. And when they say to you, what do you know that I don't know? The only thing that you can say to them that is of any real value to them is, I figured out my relationship with me, and I'm constantly aware of my vibrational relationship to who I really am and what I really want. And I guide every thought I can to mesh with the wholeness that I am. I've become a deliberate thinker.